According to official records, in 2122, the US CSS Nostromo became the first Weyland-Yutani ship to make contact with xenomorph XX-121. Returning to Earth after a standard processing run, the crew was awakened from hypersleep by what the ship's interface believed to be a distress signal. Upon seeking the source, a derelict alien craft was discovered, its hold full of xenomorph eggs. A crew member was implanted and taken back aboard the Nostromo. In less than 24 hours, the xenomorph had killed all but one of the crew, exhibiting an as-yet unseen perfection of instinct and form. It was in April of 2121 that the US CSS Nostromo arrived at Thetis. 8 weeks later, carrying 20 million tons of mineral ore, the ship began the return to Earth with the following crew members aboard. Captain Arthur Dallas, ID 032 V407C. Graduated from Merceton Flight Academy in 2099, worked his way to AA flight status and his own commission in the United America's Outer Rim Defense Fleet, UAORD, by 2108. Following the tragic loss of the UAS troop carrier Archangel under his command in 2109, Captain Dallas's flight status was revoked, and he was dishonorably discharged from military service. Over the next decade, Dallas turned his hand to commercial interests. By 2120, the year he was contracted by the Weyland-Yutani Corporation and given command of the USCS Nostromo, Captain Dallas managed to reclaim his B-Flight status. Executive Officer Gilbert Ward Thomas Kane, ID 825G901K. Kane was expelled from Bryce Watkins Medical School for substance abuse in 2108 when he was 25, the only blemish on an otherwise spotless career. In 2112, he graduated from Wellington Academy with a master's degree of engineering and began work with the EU/UK as lead technician at an archaeological dig on Carner Minor. His wife of barely 2 years was lost in a compression accident in 2115, and Kane transferred to the EU/UK Colonial Expedition to Outer Rim territories as a mission analyst. After serving with the distinction as first officer on the HMS Sabretooth in 2118 and as executive officer for the US CSS Kenmore in 2119, he was then assigned to the US CSS Nostromo in 2120 as executive officer, flight status A. Warrant Officer Ellen Ripley, ID 759L201N. Ellen Ripley was recruited straight from the prestigious Evansbrook Academy into the company's Horizons Beyond Officer Training Program in 2115, graduating with honors a year later. She showed exceptional ability in law, ethics, and corporate management. In 2118, Ripley successfully sued the company for brief parental leave. Her only daughter, Amanda, was born in 2111. She would return for work in 2119 as warrant officer aboard the US CSS Sotillo. In 2120, she was assigned to the US CSS Nostromo as warrant officer, flight status B. Warrant Officer Ripley joined the Nostromo already en route to Thetis. Navigator Joan Lambert, ID 971L602P. Lambert graduated from New Ontario University in 2112 with a master's degree in astrocartography. She successfully interned at Ryden Corp, astrocartography department background as shipping lane trafficator. Worked as assistant navigator on commercial Mars Orion routes, promoted to navigator in 2118 for UA scout vessel Adoa. Married and divorced twice. Assigned to USCSS Nostromo in 2120. Science Officer Ash, ID 971L601X. Hyperdyne Systems 128-2, activated in 2118. Placed aboard the Nostromo at Thetis in 2121 for the return trip to Earth. Ash was designed to be fully loyal to the company interests. The company's standard to place a synthetic on every DS mission was not yet in place, but it was no accident that Ash was assigned to the Nostromo. In fact, the Interface 2037 Mother had picked up a faint signal on the journey to Thetis and uploaded it to the company net. At the time, the signal was believed to be that of a lost mapping satellite. The decision was made to replace the serving science officer with an artificial person so that company interests would be suitably represented. The Nostromo's return course was uploaded to the 2037 interface to pass closer to the signal. Chief Engineer Dennis Parker, ID 313S408M. Served as a mechanic at Skyfire Down for the UAORD from 2105 to 2107. Captured and held by rebels at GR-161 on Tauran Prime in 2107, escaped liberation of Tauran Prime in 2108 in an emergency evacuation vehicle that he constructed himself from scrap. Honorably discharged from the UAORD later that same year. received additional training at the San Diego School of Astroengineering but quit in 2113 before completing degree. Briefly did freelance work before contracting to UA. The Weyland-Yutani Corporation took over his contract in 2115. He met and began working with Brett on the USCSS Nanobo in 2117. In 2120, they joined the crew of the USCSS Nostromo en route to Thetis. Assistant Engineer Samuel Brett, ID 724R406J. Worked as a vehicle mechanic, as a ship hardware specialist, and in cargo maintenance for Wrighton before returning to trade school in 2102. A checkered history, Brett spent most of his adult life in and out of alcohol rehabilitation facilities. Also worked in waste disposal and as a reactor tech. Suffered minor brain damage during a cerebral detox procedure on Titan in 2112. Flight status was suspended or revoked on 3 separate occasions and finally restored in 2113 shortly after his release from an extended stay at a company medical facility. Much of what we've come to learn regarding the xenomorph XX121 specimen has origins in the Nostromo crew's encounter. The ship's 7 crew members and its resources have contributed to the company's realization of its untapped potential. Helmet cams, crew logs, and Ripley's own deposition 57 years later filled in the gaps of the mystery of the Nostromo's destruction in 2122. Much has been documented of the findings from the Nostromo's first contact with XX121. For supplemental information on these findings, please see